Welcome back to German with John Berlin, and today we'll be picking up a new topic for our lesson. The new topic of today's lesson is perfect tenses. So what are perfect tenses? So if we just review a little what we did thus far, we began with the present tense, I bake a cake. We went to the future, I will bake a cake. We did the past tense, I baked a cake. Yes. And now we'll be doing the perfect tense, that is, I have baked a cake or I had baked a cake. What's the difference between the past tense and the perfect tense? Now, the meaning of perfect is when an action has taken place perfectly, it's finished. Yes. So when an action has finished in the present, you call it present perfect. When an action has finished in the past, you call it past perfect. Yes. So the present perfect is I have baked a cake. The past perfect is I had baked a cake. It's finished. Okay, it's over. So the action has completed itself. Now, finding the German counterpart of the same tense, let's see how it goes. Now, basically, the idea is in English, you use have or had, depending on the tense, present or perfect, as a verb to make perfect sentences. In German, we do not just have one helping verb, we have two helping verbs. Yes, one is the same like have and had, which is haben. Yes, or in the past it becomes hatten, like you could see here. So basically haben is have, hatten is had. And there is another verb which we use, sometimes it's called sein and waren. Yes, so this is something we'll have to adjust, that when we make sentences in English, we normally use have or had. Now we'll be trying to figure out if we use haben or hatten, which is like have or had, or should we use sein or waren, which is like I am, I was. So let's find out what makes this helping verb change and what are the conjugations of this helping verb quickly. So the helping verb haben, we did this earlier on. The conjugation is ich habe, du hast, sie es hat. It's not habt. Yes, it's hat. Please remember the B goes omitted, so it's hat. Wir haben, ihr habt, sie, sie haben. Yes, so if the stem changes, like you remember, it only affects the second and the third person, like you can see here, hast and hat. Perfect. So it's the first verb we did earlier on. One of the verbs we did earlier on. The past form is hatten, which we just did in the last lessons. That it's hatten, that's the past form, Präteritum. Ich hatte, du hattest, sie es hatte. Wir hatten, ihr hattet, sie, sie hatten. Fantastic. So that's the conjugation for haben, hatten. For sein und waren, it's like ich bin, du bist, sie, es ist. Wir sind, ihr seid, sie, sie sind. I am, you are, he, she, it is. We are, you all are, they are, and you are. Formal waren would become the past tense, Präteritum, and it is read like ich war, du warst, sie, es war. It's irregular, there is no e in the end. Yes, wir waren, ihr wart, sie, sie waren. Fantastic. So these are the verbs which we'll be using. Sometimes haben or hatten, present and past. Sometimes sein und waren, present and past. So let's find out a couple of examples before we go into learning the structures and stuff, just to see what we'll be learning. So if you say I have made a pizza, it'll be like ich habe, I have. Ich habe eine Pizza gemacht. Gemacht is like I made. I have driven to school will be basically ich bin zur Schule gefahren. Now this is the thing we'll be learning. Why did I change the helping verb from haben to sein? That is ich bin. Yes, let's find out what basically makes this switch happen. So let's go further. So the basic rule is that first we understand that the verbs which have movement, it's written here, I was looking for this. So the verbs which have movement, any probable, any fundamental movement, not probable movements, fundamental movement. That means like you are running, you're traveling, yes, you are going, you are coming, you are jumping. All these are fundamental movement. Whenever you do these, there is a change in your position. Yes. Then there are some movements which do have movement, some verbs, but they are not fundamental movement, like I play. Now when you play, there is movement, but you can also play mind games, you could play chess. So there is no movement in those cases. So these are probable movements. We don't want them. We just want proper movements. If there is movement, we'll use the verb. If there is no movement, pardon me, there's no movement, we'll use haben or hatten as a helping verb, just like in English. But if there is movement in the verb, like I mentioned, fundamental movement, we will not use haben and hatten, we'll use sein and waren. Yes, I am, I was, I have, I had, I am, I was. This is something we need to get accustomed to. And these were the examples we did. I have made a pizza, ich habe eine Pizza gemacht. I've driven to school, ich bin zur Schule gefahren. Gefahren is basically the verb to drive, driven in the perfect tense, and it has movement, like I said, fundamental movement. Whenever you drive, there is always movement. Now, coming on to how to create a perfect sentence, these were the helping verbs on which we discussed. Now, coming to the main verb itself. Now, let's say we have here like gemacht, gefahren. How did we make these verbs? This is the basic step which you need to follow, how to convert verbs into perfect tense. These are the steps. Let's find out. You add a GE in front of the verb. Yes, you add a GE in front of the verb, and you end the verb with en or t. That means you could end the verb either with like gemacht or like geschlafen or gefahren. Yes, for example, machen becomes gemacht, you add a G, add a T in the end, and schlafen becomes you add a GE and this time add a EN in the end, geschlafen. So which one to add? Should you add a EN or should you add a T? Depends from verb to verb. We just need to learn it. There is no rule whatsoever, no shortcuts. We need to look them up on the internet. I'll give you some links in the book with which you could find out what is the past tense, what is the perfect tense, pardon me, for that particular verb. Okay, so this is the basic structure of making a verb into the perfect. You add a GE mostly, and then the verb you end with EN or T. So let's get started and let's do some verbs and let's try to finish this in 2 to 3 parts. So let's see. The first one is right in front of us. The sentence we'll be making, let's find out. First, look at the verb. So this one, be with me, try to understand this. The verb is haben. So we need to make a perfect for haben. We need to choose a perfect helping verb first. Will it be haben or sein? So since we are making a perfect of haben, it makes sense to take the helping verb haben. Also, the verb have does not have any movement. So of course, the helping verb will be haben itself. Perfect. So we'll say, if you want to say I have had, you will say ich, then you'll use the helping verb haben and you'll say habe, and then you'll make the perfect form of haben by using the rule we learned. You add a GE in front, ended with a T or EN. Let's see how it looks. You added a GE, ended with a T. Ich habe gehabt. I have had. Yes, I have had enough. Ich habe genug gehabt. I have had enough. Genug is enough. So this is like the way you say I have had. Now let's say you want the verb kaufen is to buy. You want to say I have bought. So kaufen hasn't got any movement. Yes, it's not a fundamental movement. You could do online shopping. Yes, with a click on a button, click of a button. So basically kaufen, it'll be ich. You'll use the helping verb haben in the present tense. I have. Ich habe. Then you'll make the perfect form of kaufen. You'll add a GE in front, end it with a T this time as well. Gekauft. Ich habe gekauft. I have bought. Perfect. Moving on to the next verbs, we'll see that some verbs which begin with a B or a V, in German be or V, they do not get a G. Yes, I repeat, they do not get a G. For example, besuchen. Now it'll be I had visited. So the helping verb besuchen, no movement. Yes, you could visit someone online. So it's basically a normal verb. So we'll just say use the verb haben as a helping verb. In the past form, it'll be hatten and it'll conjugate for ich hatte. We'll make the perfect form of the verb besuchen and we'll write besucht. We will not add a GE. We'll not say gebesucht. It sounds funny. So it'll be ich hatte besucht. I have got, the verb to get is bekommen. Yes, bekommen is to get. You say I have got, it's in the present tense, so ich habe. There'll be no ge, and you'll end with the en. Bekommen, it ends up looking the same. Yes, ich habe bekommen. Verkaufen, it's to sell. I have sold. Again, this is beginning with v. It will not be given a ge. It can't even say it. It's a tongue twister. Verkauft. It doesn't really sound nice. You end it with a t. It'll be verkauft. Ich habe verkauft. I've sold. Yes. Now we'll do some of these verbs together, and you can try to build the perfect forms. And you should just be careful of the tense. If it is have, you'll use haben. If it is had, you'll use hatten. So let's see. Kriegen, it's also a verb to get, and it derived from the verb kriegen, which is to fight. It's understood also as to get. So you need to get something, you need to fight for it. That's the German idea. Yes. So let's find out. I'll need to say I have got. It'll be ich habe kriegen. Basically is the verb. We'll add a ge and we'll say gekriegt. We'll end it with a t. I have got. I have read. It'll again be in the present tense. Ich habe. We'll add a ge, gelesen, this time with the en. Ich habe gelesen. I have slept. Again, ich, present tense, habe, and we'll put a ge in front of the verb, and we'll keep it the same, geschlafen. Yes, h is missing. Okay. I had worked. Now the tense changed to the past. The helping verb is hatten. Ich hatte, conjugated for ich. Ich hatte. Now the verb is arbeiten. We'll add a ge and we'll say gearbeitet. Very good. Now the verb is schreiben, to write. I had written. It's again in the past. So we'll use hatten. Ich hatte. We'll add a ge and we'll say geschrieben. Perfect. I have made. It'll be basically in the present tense. I have. Ich habe. To make is basically machen. You'll say gemacht. Add a ge and end it with a t. And we have a similar verb like machen. It's tun. This is one seldom verb. It's like irregular. It's the only verb which might end with an n along with sein. Normally all the verbs in German end with an en. So the meaning of tun is also to do, just like machen. Machen is interpreted like to make or to do. Tun is also basically to do. The difference being when you're doing something specific, you say I do it, ich mache das. If you're saying something unspecific, I don't do anything nowadays, then you'll say tun. Yes, ich tue nichts. Yeah, diesen Tagen. So let's find out. How will we use this in the perfect? I have done. I have done nothing, like you want to say. So it'll be helping verb with be haben in the present tense. Ich habe. And the verb tun will change into, moment, let's find out. We'll add a g, e, and then instead of tun, we'll say tan, getan. Yes, perfect. Ich habe getan. Now, I have met. Again, ich. Now it's had met in the past tense. Be careful of that. So we'll use hatten, ich hatte, and the verb to meet is treffen. It becomes getroffen. Yes, you need to learn that. Trinken. Trinken is to drink, and it's I have drunk in the past tense, in the present tense, haben. Ich habe getrunken. Fantastic. Yes. Now the verb is to eat. I have eaten. It's ich habe. Now to eat is essen. We'll add a ge, geessen, but it sounds a little weird. There are two e's together. It sounds like giesen. So we'll just add another g in between. It'll become gegessen. Yes. I have eaten. I have sent. The verb is senden, just like in English. And you need to say I had. It's like hatte. Ich hatte. You'll add a ge, gesendet. You could also sometimes say gesandt. It has two forms. Yes, regular and irregular. Okay, schicken is to send, and the verb is I have sent. It'll be ich habe, present tense, geschenkt, adding a ge, ending with a t. geschenkt. I have delivered, the verb is liefern, yes. Now you'll need to make it in the past. Ich hatte, so the verb would be hatten. Ich hatte, the verb is liefern. You'll add a GE, ended with a T, geliefert. Fantastic. Okay, super duper. Now coming here, talking about some verbs which have EI in them. Schreiben, leihen, verleihen. When you write them in the perfect, the EI changes to IE like we did earlier here with schreiben, just showing it with some other verbs. So I had written will be ich. Let's do it together. Yes, so it'll be ich and the verb is had. I'll write hatte. The verb is to write schreiben. We'll add a GE and write geschrieben instead of geschrieben. Yes, geschrieben, IE. Leihen is to borrow. I have borrowed. You'll again begin with ich. It's had. You'll say hatte. Then borrowed is leihen. It'll become with a GE, geliehen. Yes, you'll not say geleihen, geliehen. Okay, now coming to verleihen, it's to lend. Yes, I have lent. In English, in German, it'll become in the present, ich habe. Now you'll not add any GE as per the rule. You don't add a GE with V. Words with V in the beginning, so we'll write simply ver. We'll change the EI to IE, verliehen. Yeah, I have lent. Now we have some verbs in German which are basically trennbares Verben. We already learned quite many. Now the idea is between when you make a perfect form of trennbares Verb, you add GE right in between of the prefix and the stem. Right in between, yes. So let's see how it goes. You'll write ich, I, and the verb is in the past tense. So you'll use hatten. Ich hatte, the verb is anrufen. You'll use the verb anrufen, begin with an, then you'll introduce the GE, then you'll end the verb with a T in this case, EN with this case. Angerufen, fantastic. Ich hatte angerufen, I had called up. Now there is one more, I had invited. Again, it's trennbares Verb, the GE will come in between, the verb is einladen, tense is past. So again, hatten, ich hatte. Very good. Ich hatte. Then we'll say ein, introduce the GE, and the verb is laden itself. Eingeladen. Ich hatte eingeladen. Now the verb is anziehen. It's to I have dressed. This needs to be done in perfect. So basically the same logic. You'll first say ich, helping verb haben, habe. Now you'll need to introduce, write the main verb an, introduce GE, ange. Now you'll not say angeziehen, you'll not say angezieht, you'll say angezogen. Yes, that's the perfect form of anziehen. Okay, now you have certain verbs like bringen, which we had learned in the Präteritums, had the past Präteritums or the past tense was brachten. Now you'll know where the brachten came from, because if you want to say I have brought, you will not say ich bringte, yes, ich gebringte or something, ich gebringt. You'll rather say, yeah, excuse me, I'll repeat the sentence. So it's like bringen. If you want to say I have brought, you will not say ich habe gebringt or gebringen. You'll say ich habe gebracht. Yeah, so basically here is where the past tense gets derived from, maybe, yes, because it's bracht becomes brachte. Now similarly, denken, it's I have to think, and to have thought, it's, let's find out, I have thought. It'll be ich habe, and we'll add a GE and end it with a T, gedacht. Yes, and we'll change the stem just like of bringen to brachten, denken to dachten. Yeah, some of these exceptional verbs. Now all the verbs which sound like English, like the Latin language, like to study, to repair, to invest, to install, studieren, reparieren, investieren, installieren, will not get a GE whatsoever in the beginning, and they all will end with a T. So I have studied, it's the present tense, ich habe studiert. Past tense, I had repaired, ich hatte repariert. Present tense, I have invested, ich habe investiert. Past tense, I had installed, ich hatte installiert. Fantastisch. So far, so good. Okay, now we come back to our good old verbs, which we had been learning in the Präteritum as well as the beginning of the Präteritum. That is your, okay, my page got switched, coming back. So this part of the exercise. That is basically we'll be making the perfect with modal verbs, but not complete sentences, just in context. Let me give you an example to explain. Let's say the sentence is, I say to you something. I say to you that I have been able to learn German very easily, and you respond to me back, I have been able to as well. Yes, so the main verb to learn has been spoken by me. You are just giving me an answer in context. I have been able to also. So how will you say I have been able to? You'll say the verb to be able is können. You'll make a perfect with it. Ich habe gekonnt. Ich habe auch gekonnt. Auch is like I have also. Yeah. So I have also been able to. Genau. Referring to my sentence. Learn German easily. Now, sollen is I had wanted to. The interpretation changes in the perfect form. So it's like wanted. Now let's say I had wanted to stay longer in the party. So the verb is stay. Now you'll say I had wanted also. So basically the main verb to stay I have spoken. You don't need to speak it. So you'll just say ich habe, I have wanted to as well. Ich habe auch. You'll make the perfect of sollen, just like you did with können. It became gekonnt. Sollen becomes gesollt. Perfect. Now I'll say to you, I had to leave early. Yes, I had to leave early. You say I had to also. Yes, I had to also. So basically you're answering in context that you also had to leave early. So it'll be ich hatte, I had to also. Ich hatte auch. Now verb to I had to is like it was my duty. So ich hatte auch gemusst. Müssen becomes gemusst. Yes, no umlaut whatsoever. It's perfect form. So ich hatte auch gemusst. Perfect. I have been allowed to. I had been allowed to drive at 20 years of age. So you say I had been allowed to as well. So you'll say ich, the verb is dürfen. Change it into perfect. Ich hatte auch gedurft. Yes, perfect. Now wollen is to want. I wanted to see Michael Jackson perform, or I wanted to see Muhammad Ali fight. So you'll say I wanted to as well. So you'll say I had wanted to see Muhammad Ali fight. You say I had wanted to as well. So you'll say ich hatte auch. The verb is wollen. It'll become gewollt. Fantastic. Moving on to the last one. The verb is mögen. It's like I liked, I had liked, or I have liked. Let's say I had liked to play with my old friends. You say I had liked also. Then you could write it here. Ich hatte auch. What's the perfect of mögen? It's gemocht. Yes, gemocht. Fantastic. That's the perfect of mögen. So these were certain types of verbs in which the helping verb is always haben, since they do not have any fundamental movement. In the next lesson, in the next part of this lesson, we'll be doing the verbs which have got movement. And what will be the helping verb? As we already know, it will be sein. So catch me in the next lesson. Till then, John Berlin signing off.